Have you ever been forced to choose between the love of your life and the woman who gave him life? I spent 30 years wondering if I was the problem because I didn't have a piece of paper to prove my worth. But today, at 55, I'm finally ready to tell you why being a dropout was the best thing that ever happened to me, and how a single mother's ultimatum destroyed a man I thought was mine forever. Stay with me, because this isn't just a heartbreak story. It's a survival guide for anyone who has ever felt less than. At 55, I've come to look at my life like a library. Most of the books are dusty, some are favorites I revisit often, and then there's that one volume, the one with the torn cover, that I usually keep hidden on the back shelf. I was 23 when that chapter began. If I close my eyes, I can still smell the cheap vanilla perfume I used to wear and the scent of the rain on the pavement outside my tiny apartment. I was a college dropout. That sounds so harsh now, but back then, it felt like a brand on my skin. I'd left school because my family was falling apart and the money had simply run out. I felt small, like a less than, in a world that only valued degrees and pedigrees. Then he came along. He was 25, a rising star in his firm, and he had this way of looking at me like I was the most brilliant person he'd ever met. For one whole year, we were a world of our own. When I couldn't find work, he'd sit with me at my kitchen table, circling classified ads and telling me that a degree was just paper, but my mind was gold. He supported me when I had nothing. He loved me when I didn't even like myself. We had plans, real ones. We talked about a small house with a big garden, and how he'd support me while I eventually finished my credits part-time. It was a beautiful, balanced year. But we weren't just two people. We were three. He was the only son of a single mother. She had worked 3 jobs to get him through school, and in her mind, he wasn't just a son. He was her life's work. He was her trophy. The first time I met her, I felt the temperature in the room drop 20 degrees. She didn't raise her voice. She just used it like a scalpel. She'd ask me about my studies, and when I'd explain my situation, she'd just hum a low, vibrating sound and say how unfortunate it was for him, because he needed a wife who could elevate his status. She didn't want a partner for him. She wanted an accessory. And to her, a dropout was a defect. She started telling him that I was baggage, that I was lazy, and that if he married me, he was throwing away everything she had sacrificed for. I watched him wither for months. He fought for me at first. I'd hear him on the phone, his voice cracking, insisting I was the one he loved. But she was a master of the emotional hunger strike. She'd stop calling. She'd claim her heart was failing. She told him that by choosing me, he was effectively orphaning her all over again. I'll never forget the day he came to see me. He didn't even take off his coat. He stood by my door, looking like a ghost of the man I loved. He told me he couldn't do it. He said he owed her his life, and he couldn't build a happy marriage on the foundation of his mother's misery. He didn't just break up with me. He cut me out. He deleted my number, avoided our mutual friends, and just vanished. He succumbed to her will completely. It took me a long time to realize that his sacrifice wasn't an act of love for his mother. It was an act of cowardice toward himself. I'm 55 now. I did go back to school. I have a career I'm proud of, and I raised children who know that love isn't something you need permission for. I heard recently that he is still in that same city, living in a house his mother picked out, married to a woman he doesn't seem to smile with. Sometimes I wonder if he looks at his life and sees the same bookshelf book I do. But if I could go back and speak to that 23-year-old girl standing in the rain, I'd tell her, if someone tells you they love you but can't stand up for you, believe their actions, not their words. You are nobody's unfortunate choice. You are the prize. Always. To you listening to my story, let me tell you this. Life has a funny way of bringing you back to yourself. It took me 30 years to understand that the rain that fell the day he left wasn't drowning me. It was washing me clean for a future I couldn't yet see. I lost a partner that day, but I gained a woman who never again allowed someone else to define her worth. Some stories don't have a fairy tale ending, but they have a powerful beginning. And for me, my real life began the moment I stopped waiting for someone to choose me and started choosing myself. If this story resonated with you, or if you've ever had to find the strength to walk away from a love that wasn't enough, please share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of growth, heartbreak, and resilience. Until next time, remember your value.